Hey, what's up? Welcome to the third episode of Crunch Data Science. My name is Song. I'm with my partner Zhenghua to teach you sports analytics using very interesting NBA topics. First, I want to shout out to Product Print from NBA subreddit. We appreciate the constructive criticisms. Because of this, we restructured our content into 3 separate videos. In this first video, we will introduce the NBA topic and some interesting findings. In the second video, following this one, we talk about the related data science fundamentals, which helps you to understand the basic ideas easily. The last video will be a coding session to show you how to achieve all our findings step by step using Python. So, let's get started. Last month, I got the news from ESPN that LeBron James started to recruit Steph Curry during the All-Star break. I don't think Steph will leave the Warriors, but given their complementary skill sets and similar desire for another championship, I cannot deny this seems to be a good fit. And things will become very interesting if Steph Curry eventually joins the Lakers. So today, we will look into this question. How many points would Steph Curry score if he joins the Lakers? Can you make a guess? To approach this problem, we started by finding the historical trade data. We selected the data using the following criteria. First, the trade should occur between 2000 and 2020. The second criterion is that each player should play at least 80 games before and after the trade, respectively. This 80-game threshold is a long period that can fairly represent the player's actual performance. As a result, we have found 1,342 players satisfy the criteria, and we collected their game statistics, with 80 games before the trade and 80 games after the trade. Next, we constructed a linear model. The y is what we want to predict. In this case, is the average points a player scores in the new team. We can find this using the 80 games data after the trade. X includes all the attributes correlated to Y. There are 3 types. First type, stats before the trade, which represent a player's capability. Second type is the team to which the player got traded. Different NBA teams have their unique style of system and culture, which might influence a player's performance. The third type is the average minutes in the new team. Let's take a closer look at the first type, stats data. To calculate it, we took the mean and the standard deviation of the basic statistics like rebound, assists, points, etc. The mean indicates a player's average performance, and the standard deviation captures the level of consistency of a player. If you are wondering how to achieve this, I'll show you in our coding session. After training the model, we can predict the imaginary scenario that Steph Curry joined the Lakers. We used his last 80 games to calculate statistics for X, and assume he plays the same minutes per game as of this season, which is 34 minutes. Then, guess what? He is expected to score 24 points according to our model. I know, it looks low, so we tried to seek for explanations. First thing came to our mind is that although Steph is impressive this season, he only played 53 games, which means we also include 27 games from the last 2 seasons, in which he was not scoring as much as this season. Besides, a potential issue with the model is that Steph is the superstar of the league, arguably the best point guard. We are essentially using all players' information to train the model and apply it to one of the best among them. So, the model might not work that well for Steph, and logically, it works better for an average player. With that being said, the result can still be reasonable. Look at what James Harden is doing right now. After getting traded to Brooklyn Nets, he's averaging 25 points, while that number of last season was 34. So, if Steph Curry joined a new team with other great players like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, there could be less opportunity for him on the offensive end. Additionally, it turns out we can easily predict other statistics by changing the Y variable in our model. We went ahead and trained two models that predict assists and rebounds. Now there's more information about Steph Curry's future performance if he joins the Lakers. For 34 minutes per game, in addition to 24 points, he can score 5 assists and 6 rebounds. Besides, we tested different scenarios. Maybe Curry is not playing as much as this season. For example, if he's only allowed to play 30 minutes per game under load management, his stats would drop to 22 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. In some challenging situation, say he got injured and only plays 20 minutes per game, then he can only score 18 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. That is actually quite efficient. Lastly, let's come back to this page and look at the points. Since this is a prediction, you might wonder what is the probability if Steph Curry scores precisely this number. This question is more complicated than it seems, but the brief answer is very small, close to 0. It is most likely that he will score more or less around this number. But at the same time, we also know it would be pretty unlikely if he cuts way off, like average 50 points or 5 points per game. So, is there a way that we can estimate a relatively reasonable range with more confidence? In the next part, Zhenghua will talk about the essential concept, confidence interval. This concept has been widely applied to all sorts of data science projects, and using this technique, we can estimate a fairly confident range of Steph Curry's future score. Thank you for watching. The next video is about adding confidence interval into our analysis, and it will be public on May 9th, the coming Sunday. After that, on May 12th, we will launch the coding session to introduce you how to do the analysis in Python. Stay tuned.